Now that you have Camtasia installed, let's get oriented to the interface. Camtasia is comprised of two applications that work seamlessly together: the editor and the recorder. When you first open Camtasia, you're generally taken to the editor, since this is where you'll likely spend most of your time as you refine and craft your story. To capture your story, you'll need to open the Camtasia recorder by pressing the red record button here in the upper left-hand corner, or pressing Command-Shift-2. With Camtasia Recorder, you can capture screen-based material, your webcam or FaceTime camera, a microphone that's connected to your computer, and any audio that's coming out of your computer. We'll step through this process in detail in later movies. For now, let's close the window and go back to our editor. The editor is divided into 5 separate regions. On the right is the canvas. Think of this as the stage on which your story will take place. Below the canvas is the timeline. Think of this as the entire script for your story. You can jump to any point in your script by moving the playhead along the timeline. Notice that your cast of characters instantly takes their positions for that point in your story. To the left of your canvas are the assets and effects panels. Think of these as your cast of characters. There are 2 primary toolbars, one at the top and one between the canvas and timeline. The one at the top of the window gives you quick access to the recorder, the canvas and project settings, as well as access to sharing and exporting your movie. In the middle toolbar, you have playback controls, and on the left, you have the most commonly used editing tools. On the right of the toolbar, you can open the Properties Inspector, where you can change specific parameters for whatever object is currently selected. At the top of your window is the Camtasia main menu. Under the Camtasia menu, you can check for updates and access the Camtasia preferences. The Preferences window allows you to customize Camtasia to work the way that you want it to work. For instance, in the General Preferences, you can choose to have Camtasia start up with the editor or start up with the recorder. I'll leave mine set to the editor, and then close the window. Whenever I open a new application for the first time, the very first thing that I do after looking at what is initially presented in the window is to look through each and every one of the main menu items. Read through each of these items. The reason is that although I may not initially know exactly what each item does, I try to start to get what the names of what the application can do set in my mind. That way, when I run into a question about how to do something in the application, I already have a rough idea of what the application's programmers have called many of the functions. This will give you a better chance of figuring out what's the right question to ask or answer to look for. And speaking of answers, the far right-hand menu is the Help menu. Not only does Camtasia provide a nice built-in online help system, but you can also get access to the Getting Started project that opened when you first installed Camtasia, access to additional tutorials, and a page that everyone should open, and that's the keyboard shortcuts page. There are many features inside of Camtasia that can be quickly accessed by using the keyboard shortcuts. Throughout this course, I'll be calling out the most common ones so you can get familiar with them. And speaking of keyboard shortcuts, you may have noticed that the right-hand side of the menus show you the keyboard shortcuts for the commonly used items. But if while you have the menu open, you press a modifier key, such as the Option key, sometimes hidden menu items appear. Now that you're oriented to the Camtasia application, next we need to talk about microphones, and we'll do that in the next movie.